Good evening, all you fabulous females out there. This is Louise Sonal coming to you from mmtv, and my guest today is Sonal Kalra, and she is an expert at meditation, in my opinion, and I'm sure in yours too when you hear her talk. Sonal, would you like to introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about what you do and how you got started?
Sure. Thank you so much, Louise, for having me with you. I think it's such a pleasure to be here. So first, a big thanks to you and also to all the listeners who are tuning in for your time, for your presence. And I think the title of this show, Fabulous Females, is so lovely. I've heard some of the other podcasts and all the lovely ladies who were here. And also you, Louise, you have so much of warmth in your voice, so much of affection, so welcoming. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So about myself, I'm, as you know, Sonal. I am the founder of Connect Meditation, where we guide meditation and mindfulness journeys for groups in corporate and non-corporate environments. We do it with a lot of love, kindness, and compassion. And we love to blend in modern day science with this ancient practice, just to make it more palatable to the current day practitioners. And a lot of feedback that we get is that we are able to make this very sometimes seemingly abstract concept more palatable, more absorbable, which I think we are able to do because we are able to blend these two science as well as all the ancient wisdom.
So could you, for people who don't really know what meditation is, could you explain how you do it?
Absolutely. So meditation is a huge umbrella, I would say, different techniques. It's basically, if I were to explain it to somebody who has no idea at all, I would say it's a way of paying attention in a particular way, in a special way. And when I say paying attention in a particular way, I mean mindfulness, I mean yogic meditation from the world of yoga. But there are many other kinds of meditations also. But these are the ones primarily that I usually have in my workshops. And we pay attention in what way? We pay attention in a present moment, non-judgmental way. Like if I were to give you an example, say, Louise, if I ask you how angry, suppose you say, I'm very angry, Sonal, and I say, how angry are you? Louise, you say, every part of me is angry. And I say, Louise, 99% of you is angry, and 1% is aware that you're angry, and that's how you know you're angry. That 1% awareness, which is in the present moment, and is non-judgmental. It's not the anger, it's not the thought, but the awareness of the thought. That is what we are practicing. So I'll give you one more example for this. So say, let me give you a little story. This is from the Himalayas. So a man goes to a teacher out there who is to teach meditation. It's supposed to be a person who's very enlightened. So he says, I'm suffering. So he says, can you give me some way to find some relief? So he says, do you know you're suffering? He says, yes, I know I'm suffering. That's why I've come to you, because I want some relief. So he says, if you know you're suffering, then you are the knower and the suffering is the known. You are the seer and the suffering is the scenery. Or in Sanskrit, which is this ancient language, a lot of texts in India were written into. I'm originally from India. So you are the drishta and the suffering is the drishya. Yeah. So what he's trying to do, the teacher is trying to do something extremely powerful. He's trying to bring a distance between awareness and the emotion and the thought of anger. And this distance is life-giving. Why is this life-giving? Is because, say, for example, you come back from your office every day at peak hour traffic and you get stuck in traffic jams and you don't like it. So it takes you an hour more than what typically it would take you. And you are irritated, you are frustrated. Every day that happens. Then one fine day you decide to take, around the same time, you decide to take a hot air balloon ride. It's an off day for you.
I've done it.
You've done it. So you know how nice it feels.
Oh, yes.
So you're up in the sky and you happen to be around the same highway that you take every day back from work to home around the same time. And now, just because of the distance, the headlights seem like twinkling stars. The distance has brought that ease. Whenever you, in the middle of it, it was different. It was frustration, but now because of the distance. So that distance is what the teacher is trying to bring. the awareness and the object of your awareness. So objects can change. It's anger, it could be sadness, it could be happiness, different objects, different emotions, but the awareness is the same. And that awareness is what we are practicing in mindfulness, which is the way we teach meditation. And mindfulness, like I said, is present moment, non-judgmental awareness. And meditation is one of the ways in which we practice it. There are many other ways. And when I say meditation, I mean sitting meditation, but you can have walking meditation, eating meditation. Mindfulness can be there in every, like right now you and I are talking. But I start thinking about the pizza that I ate yesterday or the friend that I'm going to meet after this. Now suddenly my body is here, but my mind is not. So it's like present moment. And then of course it's non-judgmental. I usually like to give an example, like a kind grandmother who observes and just lets you be. So you're observing the thoughts come and go. You're observing the emotions come and go. You're observing the sensations in your body. But rather than being the sensation or thinking the thought, you are the awareness. And that distance becomes life-giving. So coming back to the story, there's a little part after that. So this person says, okay, I'll think about it and I'll come back to you. So he goes back, he thinks about it and he says, yeah, this kind of makes sense. There's a distance that's just coming in. And so he goes back to the teacher. He says, I've got what you wanted to tell me. I'm now peaceful. He says, immediately the teacher says, you are not peaceful. You are the knower of your peace. Because what was happening to this man was something which happens to many of us on many topics in different phases of our lives, which is that we start identifying with our thoughts. And the moment you start identifying with the thoughts, it's great if you're happy because we usually like being happy. But if you are feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling frustrated, over a period of time, after some time you want relief, but you've identified with that. So that distance is not coming. So that is what the teacher's trying to say, that you're the knower of your emotions and that awareness, present moment, non-judgmental to whatever. So that's what we practice in meditation, sitting meditation per se.
Great. Yeah, actually, I have done both. I actually led meditations in the past.
So you know.
So I know what you're talking about, but I'm sure that there are people listening who don't.
Yeah.
So it's really great that you explained it so well. And what about, I have had people who have said, well, this is really great, but I just can't stop all the sounds in my head and the thoughts in my head. And how do you deal with that?
It's such a beautiful question, Louise, because this is something that definitely happens. It's called a monkey mind, and there is a reason.
I had forgotten that, but I have heard that. Yes.
I think research has shown us, there was this research which I was reading about, that on an average, a person gets 50,000 thoughts a day. And for some of us, it could be even more. And that's the way the nature of the mind is.
Yes.
So we are not, like I was telling, the distance between the thoughts and the awareness of the thoughts.
Yes.
So we're not trying to silence the mind. We are trying to go beyond and just become the awareness. So it's like, for example, if you stand by this lovely street, which is all the vehicles, and you're just watching the vehicles go by. So if somebody says this, what I try and explain is typically in mindfulness, we have two components. One is concentration and one is open awareness, if I could say. And what do I mean by this is that we try and get to a place wherein you can be the awareness of the thoughts rather than thinking the thought. In a pilot project, kind of a routine. So first we look at the breath, because if usually breath is non-resistant for most of us. For some of us, it may be a little bit resistant, especially for some of us, who develop some respiratory problems during the pandemic and stuff like that. So then there are different other objects of meditation. But say it's the breath. Now we start concentrating on the breath and you just start watching it. So you are going to do exactly what eventually you will do with the uncomfortable thoughts, but we are not going right to the uncomfortable thoughts. First, we are doing something very non-resistant, something which is available with us most of the time. And you start just watching it. Nothing, just it's going up and down. So it could be the tip of your nose as you inhale and exhale, or your nasal cavity as the breath flows in and out, or the rising and falling of your chest or your abdomen. Different ways in which you can just follow the sensation of your breath.
Right.
As you start getting into it, in the moments you are on the breath, in a moment you can only think a thing. So you're either on the breath or on a thought. So say in the 15 minutes that you sit down or the 5 minutes that you sit down for your meditation sitting meditation practice, only 1 second, 1 moment is what you're able to get on the breath. That's okay. as per your unique and beautiful path of least resistance, as you start practicing, there comes a time where that 1 second becomes 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Maybe one day it becomes 0 seconds again. As you practice, there comes a time when you're able to stretch it. Like a oil that you're pouring from a bottle. So stream of that. So you got a stretch of that concentration only on the breath. So say, for example, 8 seconds. In those 8 seconds, you are only on the breath and not any thought, because in a moment you can be only in one place. Now, at that point, there is no thought. After some time, as you practice the breath more and it gets even more stretched, there comes a time where the breath also begins to blur. And now you've transcended the breath. Now you've gone to that place which, there's a beautiful quote by Saint Teresa of Avila, who was a Spanish saint. And she said that inner sanctuary, that place of refuge which is there available to all of us within. Now you've gone to that inner refuge and now let the thoughts come. You're just watching them. But initially you can't, especially the uncomfortable ones. So the first we do it with the breath. Once you've practiced this, then we go on to the comfortable thoughts. So happiness or things which are easy for you. And then some mildly irritating thoughts, which are not much of irritation in them. And then finally, as per your unique and beautiful path of least resistance, we come up to slowly to the thoughts which could be extremely uncomfortable. And then you start looking at even them. But from a point of that inner refuge, from that sanctuary. Does it kind of make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah, I do meditate. Because I've had some blood pressure problems. So I start by thinking, sort of visualizing myself at the beach.
Lovely.
I grew up in Revere and I went to the beach a lot, real lot. So I sort of picture the waves breaking on the shore, and I have done it often enough that I go there in my head.
Yes.
And it does, and I actually physically feel the calmness.
Yes.
Do you suggest that sort of visualization?
Yes.
And for people who say they can't really do that, any suggestions on how to begin?
Absolutely. So yes, visualization is extremely powerful. Especially, like I said, there are many different kinds of meditations. So visualization being one of them. In fact, even on my website, on one of the podcasts I have, one of the videos is on visualization. Because again, it's powerful. I think it's so important to honor the way you want to do it, So for you, it's visualization. For somebody else, it could be something else.
Yes.
There's this Grecian chants from Europe. I think they're beautiful, So difference. What I suggest is about somebody who is new and cannot say meditate but wants to meditate. I would suggest sound. In fact, a lot of traditions suggest sound because sound is very present moment. It's here, and it just enables you to come to a place wherein you can center yourself more easily. It could be sound in terms of chants. It could be sound in terms of crystal bowls, sound baths. It could be whichever way appeals to you, which resonates with you. And a lot of times it also happens, Louise, you may have maybe noticed in your practice or in the practices of people that you're privy to, that we start off with a particular kind of meditation, but then after some time you might say, okay, you know what, I've done this for the last 20 years, but now I want to do something else. And so you honor wherever you are,
Yeah, and so that we don't accidentally miss it, why don't you tell people how to get in touch with you and how your business works, so that people, if people want to learn with you, they will know what to do initially to make that contact.
Absolutely. They can contact us on our website, which is www.connectmeditation.com. So CONNECTMEDITATION.com. They can also write into me at sonal@connectmeditation.com. They can also call me if they would like to, 617-580-1080.
Want to repeat that slowly?
Absolutely. So 617-580-1080.
Okay.
And email sonal@connectmeditation.com. Would love to hear from them. And Connect Meditation, like I was telling you at the beginning, we do meditation and mindfulness journeys for groups in corporate and non-corporate environments. We also work with, when I say non-corporate, I mean schools. We've done work with the Melrose Public School District. We've done work for the staff, as well as the children, the students in the Hoover Elementary. We have also done work for non-profits like MAV, the Melrose Alliance Against Violence. Yes. And now we're doing the yoga festivals, so which is totally different. And I think we like to consider ourselves one of the things which is we are very happy about is that we are able to adapt according to the audience, according to the level in terms of the practice, intermediate, advanced, beginner level. So different this thing. And again, the topics are very different. Sometimes it could be mindfulness, but yet the way you address it is different. So we like to do it that way. If anyone wants to know more, they can come on our website. They can always get in touch with me.
Okay, great. Wow. Well, I've really learned a lot, and thank you. I was really inquisitive, and as I said, I'm familiar with meditation, and so I was interested in how you do it and how people can get into it. And for people who say, "Oh, I just can't calm down. I just can't do that," that you're there.
Gracias. You know? I think there are, the Dalai Lama, he says there are when he said there were some 7 billion people, now there are 8 billion in the world. And I think for all of us who are asking and ready for something like this, I wish it could just reach everyone. That's my dream.
Great. How did you start? How did you get into this whole thing?
That's an interesting question. So I'm originally from India. And in India, a lot of us get initiated into it when in our childhood. Not everybody, but many of us do. So around the age of 9 or 10 is when I got initiated. So there was a teacher that my family used to go to. And he initiates. When I say initiated, it means basically, typically it was a mantra. Given to you and told how do you do it and stuff. Though I must confess, Louise, that as a child I was more interested in playing than in sitting meditation. I used to do it, of course, but it was only a period of time, and especially in my adult life. So for my, I've done my undergraduate in psychology, and for my MBA I had to go to another city. So till the time you're with your parents, any problem that you can't resolve, they're there. And suddenly I was in another city, and I had to, an MBA can be extremely, the schedules and stuff is, strenuous. So that's when I needed something to center myself from within rather than looking outward. So that's when I think I started really practicing, started getting the benefits. But I think even as a child, Louise, I think for me, one of the things which I used to ask is, why is there suffering? I was always into this. And what are the answers I used to get? I never used to, somebody would say karma, somebody would say something else. Nothing would resonate. But then over a period of time with my practice and different modalities and your own journey, I think that is what really got me into meditation and kept me there, because I could actually get, like you say, insights.
Yes. Great. Okay. Well, thank you. And for all you fabulous females out there who've been listening to this, I hope that you will contact Sonal, because I'm sure that you'll benefit greatly from it. And for right now, have a very nice evening. This is Louise Fennell at mmtv. And I hope that you all just have a wonderful evening. Good night.